happening in God's consciousness. We're happening right now in that infinite light, if we could but see. As Bergson points out, we have the ability to know every event, the infinitely infinite number of events going on in all realms, all universes, and right here, now. But it would be very hard to tie our shoes, cook, go for a walk, dress ourselves, if we're aware of that all the time. All we could be is that, and shed the bodies and everything. But that's what we are. And so entering into this meditation, I think so many forms of meditation bring you to that place, ultimately. Yeah, and it has different names, but it goes in the same place. Yeah. And what happens is that you enter that, and you know it is a practice of non-doing. We're so into doing. This is a practice of being. And real being, of course, is that infinite light. Though Heidegger's got it right in terms of the shining forth, if you will. But the self-radiation of that divine light. So that letting go into the divine reality, emptying ourself of our egoic consciousness, our false self, that kind of autonomous fixation, which slowly over a period of time dissipates. I remember something Bede Griffith said to me many years ago. We were out for a walk in a park in London called Ealing, and we were talking about sanctity, holiness. What is holiness really? And he made a statement that was very influential for me because it gives you a practical understanding. He said, sanctity, holiness is being aware of how much we're conditioned by the ego. That right away to know that gives you this extraordinary perspective. Once you know that, you have a tool to transcend it.
One of the ways of referring to this is that spirit is that ever-present noticing. So on that other side of the, if we can put this sort of in first-person terms to relate to what you were saying, because you also brought it back in the first person when, at the end when you tied it together. But spirit is that ever-present noticing that's going on right now. So there's something in you that is aware of everything that's arising moment to moment. Now that absolute subjectivity, if you could push back far enough, would be that absolute light and consciousness that Brother Wayne is talking about. But in addition to this ever-present noticing, in which the entire universe is arising, there is your individual attention. So you focus on this, and you focus on this, and you focus on this. Now you're still focusing on something that's arising within your own big mind, because all of this is arising in your own big mind. And it takes no effort for things to be noticed. This is happening anyway. You are aware of everything that's arising without making a single effort whatsoever. It's effortless. And so that's the big mind, that's light, that's consciousness. But then your own grasping or identification is an act of attention. And so when you start meditation, you're sort of identified with this act of attention. And you want to get in touch with this light on the other side of the wall, which just happens to be the thing in you that's aware of that desire, which is the interesting part about it all. So you can actually bring it home right now. So let's say your name is John Doe. You can do this right now. There's something in you, if your name, so let's say there's something in George that's aware of George. There's something in Ken Wilber right now that's aware of Ken. There's something in Brother Wayne that is aware of Brother Wayne. So if you get a sense of yourself right now, you're aware of yourself as an individual. Just feel yourself as an individual. What is aware of yourself as an individual? So if your individual's name is John, that which is aware of John is spirit. So in a sense, you have two selves. One which is aware not only of you, but everything that's arising moment to moment, impartially. That ever-present noticing right now is simply taking in everything that's arising. So you see the room arising in your awareness. You see your own thoughts arising in your awareness. You see your own body arising in your awareness. You see Ken Wilber arising in your awareness. And that which is aware of all of that is spirit. So meditation, in a sense, it's paradoxical because you're identified with some object that you can see right now. You actually think that what you can see is yourself. You think this body is the real you. You think these thoughts are the real you. You think this named self is the real you. It's not. It's a false identity. It's a fake, mistaken identity. It's an object of awareness. So the more you let go of all of that radically, that's the creature side. then you are resting more and more in that ever-present awareness that's big mind, or light in consciousness, your own true self. So when you start to do that, though, you want to try to see Godhead as an object. Is that you? So if I do that, then I'll be able to see it, right? No, it's still the seer. You won't be able to see Godhead ever. It's just this vast openness and a sense of freedom in which all of this is arising. But as you start to let go of this contraction of identity, then all sorts of interesting things happen. And that's sort of the whole intermediate practice of meditation, because you get a glimpse of this ever-present, radiant love, light, and consciousness. But it appears as an other. But then it appears that you're being suffused by this other. Then you're loved by this other. Then you're so close that you can hardly tell the difference between yourself and this other. And then all of a sudden there's just this other, but it's no longer this other, it's just yourself, or it's this isness, this suchness. And so that it's that whole interesting course of events of letting go of the creaturely side of that equation. But it's always kind of, it starts with a little bit of a divine schizophrenia. There's that in you which is aware of yourself. Big self and small self.
Exactly.
And the transition is the interesting ride.
Yeah, exactly. And then ultimately, of course, is the indwelling of all selves in the infinite light.